Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to the Ratty. Hello, Ratty. You can't really see her. She's behind the leaf. Anywho, there has been a lot of speculation going on, and I did a video about this yesterday, 2 days ago, I guess at this time, about Ecomi being bought by Disney. And there's a lot of different things that we can take from that. Again, go watch that video if you haven't seen it. The short answer is probably not going to happen, at least not anytime soon. But for those of you that do not know me and are just clicking on this for the title, I don't even know what the title is going to be or the thumbnail, but I love video games. Like, it has been a major part of my childhood and a major part of me becoming the man I've been today, financially included. In 2021, I doubled my net income because of Pokemon cards. And just a little preface, I just wanted to put this on eventually as well. I want to talk about this. Tom Brady's the football that he threw to complete his last touchdown as a professional football player in the NFL sold for $518,000. And I'm not even going to talk about the fact that he's kind of coming out of retirement and that football is probably going to be worth a little bit less, a lot less probably. But that is what it sold for because that was supposed to be his last touchdown. And a Charizard, first edition PSA 10, sold for $336,000. Pretty nice amount of money. Now, that is not the most expensive Pokemon card, and I will make another video comparing sports to collectibles and people versus Pokemon, like actual real-world superstars versus characters that are not alive or not real, as some might say. And the reason why I bring that up is because I live in two worlds. One is the world you all know. The other is a world of games. I've been a resident of the Mushroom Kingdom in Mario Brothers. I've teamed up with Yoshi and threw eggs at bone dragons. I've helped Donkey Kong get his bananas back when his banana hoard was robbed. I saw to it that Samus got help in Kirby's Dream Land 3. I fought alongside Star Fox in the battle for Lilac, experienced absurdities while raising Pokemon, and became a hero of time with Link. It's a rewarding world, a world that has shaped mine and my friends' lives impermeably and forever. And I don't know why certain things happen. I think a lot of it comes from money, but when you have people at the helm like David Yu and Dan Crothers, especially David, both of them especially, but David Yu as a collector, where we go and it's just for passion, that is one of the greatest bullish facts. That is one of the greatest things that I have ever seen, and why I put $500,000 into the Omi token, not including the $50,000 I put into the app back when we didn't have Marvel and we didn't have Disney, or at least it wasn't announced. So, what I mean to say with this is that a lot of people are talking about Disney buying Ecomi, or maybe Apple or Amazon buying Ecomi, which they all very well could if Ecomi would let them. Same as like Nintendo. They could be bought out if they would let themselves be bought out. Like EA Games is another one. Like you take a look at the most downvoted Reddit comment in the world, and how quickly we forget about those things, and I'll get to that eventually. Now, the comment goes from a question in Star Wars Battlefront saying, "Seriously, I paid $80 to have Vader locked." And he says, "This is a joke. I'll be contacting EA support for a refund. I can't even play hecking Darth Vader. Discussing this age of microtransactions has gone way too far. Leave it to EA, though, to stretch the boundaries." And EA responds, "The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. As for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at average per-player credit earn rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure that players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course, attainable via gameplay. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the community has put forth around the current topics here on Reddit. our forums across numerous social media outlets. But our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as soon and as often as we can. 668,000 people downvoted that comment. Now, I bring that up for two reasons. One, because it's funny as heck. Two, because this was made about 4 years ago. And if I go to my photos, there's a couple of things that I want to bring out with EA Games. EA Games has had a major partnership over the last couple of years with Disney, because Disney wants to put out Battlefront. They want to put out a bunch of other video games that Disney is not necessarily really good at. You have Bob Iger that said, quote, "We're good at making movies and television shows and theme parks and cruise ships and the like. We've just never managed to demonstrate much skill on the publishing side of games," end quote. Now, I'm not even going to bring up Abandoned by Disney. Go Google that if you want to. It is a horrendous story. Ridiculous. Anywho, as far as gaming companies go, who's going to buy who and who's going to acquire who? Well, let's take a look at Ubisoft. They're almost 6.9. Everyone comment nice down below for the 69 $billion worth of gaming IP and content. Could Ecomi buy them? Maybe. I mean, they're good, and they could if they decided to raise money. Now, for the raising money part, Ecomi's never needed to do that. They have maybe in the past decided to sell some of their Omi tokens from the dev wallets or whatever. Personally, like even Andre Jick, he said he didn't buy his original $150,000 buy from the circulating supply. He bought it from a private sale. Who he bought it from, I don't know. But maybe I should get him back on the podcast to talk about that. But he had bought that, and that is how Ecomi raised money back in the day, when they had to pay their people to be able to develop these characters, to make them from their physical art forms into the digital art forms we know and love today. That costs money. To get IP, that costs money. They had to be able to sell some of these things, and they did so swimmingly. If they ever needed to raise money, like Vanity Fair a couple months ago, when they talked about Art Singh or Art Patron, if you follow him on Instagram, the guy responsible for Rewind Collective and the LGBTQA plus community, I think it's called. I might have missed a letter or number here and there, and I apologize for that. Vanity Fair called the Veve and Ecomi a multi-billion-dollar industry already. So if they needed to raise a couple $1 billion before interest rates rise, because the CPI index came out last week saying that, inflation's coming out a bit higher than people expected, and the Fed will raise rates in the next couple of months. The best time to raise money is really when you don't need it, but the second best time to raise it is if you have a good opportunity. And Ecomi has a great opportunity to acquire a bunch of places. What else would we have here? I mean, when Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard and everything. They bought World of Warcraft, they bought Call of Duty, they bought Hearthstone, they bought Diablo, Candy Crush and all that. When Bethesda joined Xbox, they had a slew of companies join them as well. And when Sony was trying to buy, Bungie and all that, they said, quote, "Elsewhere in the organization, we have many more moves to make," end quote. So they, that was from Jim Ryan, CEO. There's many different companies that are looking to acquire other ones. And, well, let's look at Nintendo. You have Sega that Nintendo could acquire for $3.3 billion. You have Capcom that Nintendo could acquire for $5 billion, or Square Enix that Nintendo could acquire for $4.4 billion. And I say this because Nintendo's got like $15 billion in the war chest ready to go. And they could acquire all of them, but if Ecomi decided to raise some funds, whether it's after the Veveverse is launched or before it, they could raise funds. They could do an IPO, or they could do they've already done an ICO, but they could do some marketing. They could, sell from the dev wallet, whatever they wanted to do. They could raise money, billions of dollars very easily. And could you imagine the news? Could you imagine the marketing if Ecomi acquired Sega for less than $4 billion, or Capcom for less than $5 billion? Or I'm sorry, Capcom for less than $6 billion, or Square Enix for less than $5 billion. It'd be pretty great. Why I don't expect Nintendo to do these things is because the CEO says, quote, they have a large number of people who don't possess Nintendo DNA in their group, and it would not be a plus to the community, end quote. So it would not be a net positive. And I know that might sound a little robotic if you call it like that, like, oh, hey, you're talking about net positive. It doesn't sound human. Well, a lot of these things are because they want to make money. And yes, people want to make money, but a lot of people also want to keep people's attention. You have the Netflix CEO that says, quote, we, Netflix, compete with and lose to Fortnite more than HBO, end quote. Why? Because people just want to play video games. They want to do their thing. They want to, why did Minecraft get a story mode? Why did all of these things happen for attention? I think that in the future, Gary Vee's talked about this as well. It's all about attention. It's all about, retaining people's attention. And what they pay mind to is what they spend money on. I think a lot of women are very, very undervalued. And this is why, especially for Women's Month, but in general, I like to get more women on the podcast is because, well, who makes the decisions of the household? Who spends the most money? It's women. Yeah, men might make a little more money just because a little more conscientious and because they choose to work all these crazy hours and they choose to work all these crazy jobs. But women are the ones that spend it. Women are the ones that control the household. They're the ones that decide the budget for the household. Men might make it, but women spend it. And I do mean that in the best way. I mean that in the way that they're the ones that control the budget. So again, why Candy Crush? Most women play Candy Crush. Why focus on, women ex Veve? Why focus on these things that Ecomi constantly tweets out for International Women's Month? Partly because, yeah, you want to support women and you want everyone to have equal rights or at least equal opportunity, but also because that's where a lot of the money's at. That's where a lot of the decisions are made. So for Ecomi trying to acquire things, I think it is more probable that Ecomi and Veve acquire other companies than it is that other companies acquire Veve and Ecomi. Again, this is just my opinion. It's not financial advice. This is just speculation. I'm not a financial advisor, although I am for some of my clients. Anywho, guys, this is just a quick video talking about everything. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to the ready. Bye-bye, ready. All right, I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, 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 meow. All right.